What's going on, everybody? I'm DJ. I'm a Korea Track Camp ENT, and today we're going to be talking about EQs. I was going to do a video, and I'm probably still going to do a video for the Church of 808s or whatnot, and it, just real quick and stuff like that. But, so we're going to be talking about EQs today, and, this is kind of like the second most misunderstood thing of music because of, people's knowledge or whatever. So, you got EQs. What is the EQ? Equalizer. I know you've seen them all in FL Studio. I know you've seen them in all other DAWs as well. Some DAWs actually have EQs that are modeled after certain EQs, but they don't have the sonic characteristics that make that EQ sound like that certain EQ. Some EQs actually carry some of the sonic emulations of the real deals and whatnot. If you are, one of the producers that mix in the box like I do. And yeah, let's go ahead and go into that. I really want to go into like the, just the example or whatever. I'm just going to play a track. It's something I'm working on. I really don't want to play the track. Because for very reasons that I'm working on. So, this track is basically, well, it's actually done, but that was kind of like the body that I started off with. But, okay, so the reality of this is that I want to really kind of dig into how EQs are used, because they're used in many different ways. And, the basic thing I want to tell you is that EQs are not meant to be used to save your mix. They're meant to add more flavor to your mix. And I'm going to use kind of like a comparison, like, okay, you have a steak, good old New York steak, New York strip or sirloin or whatever, however you get down when you eat your steaks. If you're a vegetarian, pretending you're eating your vegetables or whatever. But when you add seasoning to that steak, it tastes a little better than it did when it was just like there, even though, you're getting a steak, you got a taste for a steak. So how in the heck does that compare to an EQ? Now in a system, in the world of EQs, you have several EQs, and I have right in front of you the Hoser, which is the worst name in the world to name this fantastic EQ by Dave Benedict. I don't know why they chose that, which means loser. Yeah, it's Canadian slang for loser. But yeah, so, what this EQ is basically doing, if you actually look at it, I'm actually using this EQ in mid-to-side mode. This is one of the main reasons why I bought this, because a lot of the parametric EQs and all that can't do what this does in terms of widening samples or whatever you want to instrument you want to widen. You can use mid to side, and I'm just gonna go ahead and play this sample again. I guess I'll add claps, and give me a little second here as I preparate, and we're gonna press play. So, one of the main things that I didn't like about this particular sample is that it wasn't, it was very, very strained. Like it needed more air, it needed more body, and in terms of air and body, those terms are basically like air. Like you hear a producer say that, or well, more or less an engineer say that, and they'll kind of relate air to like the highs, and sometimes they relate air to the bass or whatever. It's an arbitrary term, for the most part. So doing the whole mid to side thing, which I think I kind of destroyed it, because I did have it like this. just giving the actual mix. This is how it sounds originally, and this is what it sounds like not bypass. So without it, and now I'm gonna add it in there. Now you see just that simple EQing right there kind of gave that particular sample a little more life than it had originally, because I really like that sample, but it didn't grasp it wasn't grasping the concept of what I was trying to suggest for the beat, and it just wasn't passing making a cut there. So there's other things, other ways that you can EQ something. This is one of the ways that people EQ. This is your basic master bus within the song. And me for one, personally, this is just personally, I don't use EQs to bring up the presence of a beat, and for the most part, usually people that do that for that, they're dealing with more live stuff than they are for just your regular day-to-day electronic music. Because when you actually look at EQing, and when I look at the way EQs are used in electronic music is not necessary, because a lot of the stuff that you're doing and the sounds that you use in electronic music have already been EQ'd to taste, because you're filtering certain waveforms or harmonics out or in to make a sound. So they're already mixed to a particular flavor, versus when you're playing a guitar within a microphone, and the microphone might not have as much highs or lows, or you're playing drums and you're recording the drums on an awesome mic set, but the mic set lacks body. And when I mean body, I mean like the mid section or whatever, because the whole basis of an EQ, they're broken down like this. And this is mid to side, but don't worry about that. And it's low. It's you got a low shelf, sometimes a low mid shelf, and a mid high shelf, and a high shelf. Sometimes it's just low, mid, and high, as this one right here, because this is 4. Sometimes you even have where you can have peak. You can add an extra peak in there, and just instead of working with a regular shelf. It's kind of the reason why I actually picked out this particular EQ, and that is actually buggy. What the fudge? That's all right. I'll report that to them. The joys of actually buying your plugins. You can complain about everything about them in a professional manner. But so I'm gonna go ahead and play the whole entire track ecliptically again, and we're just gonna pick apart what parts I EQ'd. So one of the other thing that I EQ was the snares. The snare, I can go ahead and I can just reset that so you can actually hear it. I'm gonna play it now without that resonance notch. That resonance notch was meant more or less for it to sit in a certain frequency spectrum while giving it that particular snare more body, because it was very, very thin, I felt. So now I'm going to go ahead and grow that EQ, grow that particular midsection in there so you can actually hear what the difference is. seeing that it gave just that snare a little more presence within the track versus it being hiding behind the other frequencies. So that's more seasoning. That's the way you should look at how you're adding EQs in there when you add EQs in there or whatnot. The more interesting one of all the other ones. Look how buggy that is. that kind of it really irritates me, but I really like this. Once again, this is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite emulations of a EQ. It's not 100% faithful, but it is darn near for waves. This is darn near close and a very good one. And this is of the Neve 1073 of the console, and this is the Shep 73 by Andrew Seps, which is once again one of those EQ monsters that I was talking about. So, I didn't do too much to this actual, and this is when it says bass right here. This is my 808, and I didn't do too much to it. But if I actually, mess with the drive real quick, because I actually had dropped the drive down on accident, you'll hear a couple of subtle things. So I'm gonna go ahead and bypass it normally, and we're gonna hear the bass without it. Now we're gonna add the Shep 73 in there. So okay, I think I was a little bit more harsh with I'm gonna be more harsh with it real quick. Got a little crackly dackly. As you can see, like me pushing the drive up, and the whole entire love between that and the reason why it's like that. Ooh, bugginess. As you can hear, the actual 808 itself was had a different feeling, different effect. Just the way it was filtered through the driven, and pushed. The 808 itself had a different kind of feel, and it was distorted, but still musically distorted. But that's basically about it. I didn't want to talk too long about EQs, because I just want to bring people up to speed on EQing and how it could work for them. I actually will talk about different types, more styles of EQing, which you can actually see in my playlist, in my mixing mastering playlist. I already have. I talked about mid to side, so I could talk about some other stuff, and we'll get to that. But if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any comments, please leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribe. I have plenty of other videos where I actually teach about mixing and mastering. You don't get to actually see people actually share their stuff about FL Studio, or people even whatever. But so I kind of want to help the community there. So I'm DJ McCree, and I am out of here.